Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is a brand new episode of my new show here on YouTube called Tea and Scandals. I'd like to thank you all for clicking on, and this episode is about a vocal quartet that helped define the Motown sound, and that is none other than the Four Tops. Originally called the Four Aims, the group consisted of lead singer Levi Stubbs, Abdul Duke Fakir, Ronaldo O.B. Benson, and Lawrence Payton. They were together for over 4 decades from 1953 through 1997 and recorded about over 33 albums. One of the notable things about the Four Tops is that the lead singer Levi Stubbs was a baritone, where most vocal groups of that time, the lead singer was usually a tenor. They were the main vocal group of production songwriting team Holland Dozier Holland, who were famous for shaping the sound of Martha and the Vandellas and also most notably the Supremes. The songs that Holland Dozier Holland created for them, consisted of Baby I Need Your Lovin', which was their first Motown single. It went number 11 pop in 1964. Without the One You Love, Life's Not Worthwhile, that went number 43 pop and number 17 on the R&B charts. I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch was their first number 1 pop as well as R&B, and definitely one of their big hits. It's the Same Old Song, which went to number 5 pop and number 2 R&B. Shake Me, Wake Me When It's Over went to number 18 pop and number 5 R&B. And their signature song, which is actually one of my favorites, is Reach Out, I'll Be There. That song went number 1 pop, number 1 R&B, and also went number 1 on the UK charts as well. Standing in the Shadows of Love went to number 6 on the pop charts and number 2 R&B. 7 Rooms of Gloom went number 14 pop, number 10 R&B. Bernadette, which was their last big hit with Holland Dozier Holland, went number 4 pop and number 3 R&B. And the last song that they did with Holland Dozier Holland was I'm in a Different World, which went number 1 pop. And the first time I actually heard the song I'm in a Different World was when I finished watching the documentary Motown 40, and they played that song at the end of part 1. The group began while in high school in Detroit. Levi Stubbs, he's also the cousin of Jackie Wilson, and his friend Abdul Duke Fakir were students at Pershing High School, and they met their 2 future members who were students at Northern High School, Ronaldo O.B. Benson and Lawrence Payton, at a local birthday party where they performed together for the first time. After that, they decided to come together and they called themselves the Four Aims. And they were signed to Chess Records in 1956 with the help of Lawrence Payton's cousin, Rochelle Billy Davis, who he also wrote songs for them as well. But Rochelle Billy Davis became known for his collaboration with Berry Gordy, where they would write and produce songs for Jackie Wilson. Some of the biggest hits were, Reek Petite and Lonely Teardrops. After signing with Chess, the Four Aims changed their name to the Four Tops to not be confused with another popular group at the time, the Ames Brothers. And over the next 7 years, they went from different labels such as Columbia Records, Riverside Records, and Red Top Records with no hits. But they toured frequently, developing a well-polished stage presence, and became regulars performing at supper clubs. And they also did background for the great Billy Eckstine. In 1963, Berry Gordy signed the Four Tops to his label Motown Records. They had did background work, you know, when they first got there for the Supremes and Martha and the Vandellas. And they struck gold in 1964 when they collaborated with Holland Doja Holland with their first song, Baby I Need Your Lovin'. They were the epitome of the Motown sound, and they were the most successful male Motown group in the United Kingdom. Whereas the Beatles were big here in the US, they kind of had that same pandemonium in the UK. So as far as Motown acts in the United Kingdom, the Four Tops was like the biggest act there. I wrote it in my notes. The UK gave us the Beatles, and we gave them the Four Tops. In 1967, Holland Doja Holland left Motown over royalty disputes and ownership of the company shares, and the hits for the Four Tops became less frequent. Their first major hit after Holland Doja Holland left was It's All in the Game, which went number 24 pop and number 6 R&B, which was produced by Frank Wilson. And they would do more singles and albums with Wilson. Their 1970 album, Still Waters Run Deep, was a concept album, but this was also one of the inspirations for Marvin Gaye's album What's Going On. And Ronaldo Obi Benson was one of the co-writers of the song What's Going On, and he was inspired after watching a brutal incident of police brutality that he had witnessed firsthand. So he, along with Marvin Gaye, shared that same like mindset, you know, to like what's going on, and he was also you know, one of the co-writers on that song. They were also paired with the Supremes, you know, the new form Supremes, after Diana Ross left the group with Gene Terrell as lead singer, and they did a series of albums together under the title The Magnificent Seven. And things began to change, you know, within the mid-1970s at Motown. Older acts like the Marvelettes, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas were either pushed aside or cut from the label, you know, for newer acts like the Jackson 5, Rare Earth, and Diana Ross, who has now by this time has become a solo artist. And by 1972, Motown moved to Los Angeles to crack into the world of television and film. The Four Tops opted to stay in Detroit and left Motown for ABC Dunhill Records. Their first release on the label, Keeper of the Castle, went number 10 pop and number 7 R&B. Their first top 10 hit since Bernadette in 1967. In 1973, they had a bigger hit with Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got. I love that song. I had to sing it. That song went number 4 on the pop charts and number 2 R&B, and it was certified gold. Another song that they did, Sweet Understanding Love, went number 33 on the pop charts and number 10 on the R&B charts. They also had other R&B top 10 hits, such as Midnight Flower and One Chain Don't Make No Prison. But after the release of their song Catfish, which was another top 10 R&B hit in 1976, the hits dried up and they end up leaving ABC Dunhill in 1978. And they would re-emerge in 1981 when they signed with Casablanca Records, and they scored a comeback hit with When She Was My Girl, which went number 11 on the pop charts and number 1 on the R&B charts, as well as the hit song Don't Walk Away. In 1983, they returned to Motown Records, and they were a part of the Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, and Forever. And I definitely remember, you know, I love their part of the show where they were kind of having the battle of the bands between them and the Temptations. And this was something that they used to do in Motown back in the 60s, where Barry would have these competitions between the acts to see who would outperform each other. So them doing this Battle of the Bands on Motown 25 was a very monumental moment on that special, and after that, you know, Otis Williams came up with the idea that they should, you know, tour together. So they actually been doing this for years, and they're even touring with each other, you know, to this day. They also performed at Live Aid, a benefit concert that was created by Bob Geldof. They left Motown again in 1986 and signed with Arista Records. In 1988, they had their last top 40 hit with Indestructible, which went number 35 on the pop charts. Also the same year, they collaborated with Aretha Franklin, who, just like them, was a Detroit native herself, on the song "If Ever a Love There Was," which went number 31 on the R&B charts. And the song was also featured in the film "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." And they were also close friends with Aretha Franklin, and they even performed at her wedding when she married actor Glenn Turman. The Four Tops also had television and motion picture opportunities as well. They performed a song on the 1982 film Grease 2. Levi Stubbs was the voice of the man-eating plant Audrey 2 in the musical film Little Shop of Horrors. And he also was the voice of the evil Mother Brain for the Nintendo-based Saturday morning cartoon Captain N, the Game Master, from 1989 to 1991. The Four Tops were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990. They received their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1997, and 2 of their songs were inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. The first one, "Reach Out, I'll Be There," was inducted in 1998, and "I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch" was inducted last year in 2018. Sadly, on June 20th, 1997, Lawrence Payton died from liver cancer at the age of 59 after being a part of the Four Tops for 44 years. Now, the T of this story is that they were like the only major group on Motown that never had a change in lineup, you know, throughout their whole career. I mean, the lineup remained the same for 44 years, and it only changed after Lawrence Payton passed away. On July 1st, 2005, Obie Benson died from lung cancer, and October 17th, 2008, lead singer Levi Stubbs died after a long battle with cancer. And today's lineup of the Four Tops consists of Abdul Duke Fakir, Ronnie McNair, Rokel Payton, who is actually Lawrence Payton's son, and Harold Spike Barnhart, with Abdul Duke Fakir being the only original member left. And he even says about, you know, the group that he's honored and privileged, you know, to still keep the legacy alive, you know, of the Four Tops. But it's also bittersweet because he no longer, because of the passing of his fellow brothers and members, you know, of the Four Tops. But they still tour today, and they vow to keep their legacy alive. And I can honestly say I am completely, you know, moved by this group. I love their music. I love their songs. I definitely remember, you know, the same old song being used in a Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial. I definitely remember the Four Tops, and definitely they're definitely one of the greatest groups of all time. And I'm glad that they're still out here, you know, still, you know, shining their light and still giving us this great music that has become historical and legendary. So that's what I have, everybody. If I missed anything, you know, feel free to get down in those comments, or if you have some of your favorite you know, songs from the Four Tops or things you want to talk about in regards to the Four Tops, please get down in those comments. I love to hear your thoughts. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with another episode of Tea and Scandals. So until next time, everybody, take care.